The objective of these series of videos is to provide an overview of project management and the methodology applied in the vast majority of formally executed projects. Here we will address the main concepts of project management using the PMBOK guide as the main reference. We will emphasize the points considered most important and that need to be addressed properly to prevent deadlines and costs from significantly exceeding estimates. We will use Microsoft Project to build schedules and WBS Schedule Pro to prepare the project WBS. A project plan is a mapping of the key elements the team will need to accomplish to successfully achieve project goals. A project planning must include information about the scope, must include information about the activities with their completion dates and the deliverables of this project, must include information about the schedule, and must also be developed on a platform that all team members have access to. To create a clear project management plan, you need to find ways to monitor and control each of its elements. Regardless of the type of project to be developed, all project plans must contain some important topics. 1. Outline the business case. The business case describes the reasons why the project is being initiated, its benefits and the return on investment. If there is an issue that is being resolved, that issue will be described here. The business case explains what should be done and how, along with a feasibility study to assess the viability of the project. If approved, you have a project. 2. Meet with key stakeholders. Every project has stakeholders, those who have an interest in the project. From the people who profit from it, to the project team members who are responsible for its success. Stakeholder analysis is important to identify the key stakeholders who can affect or be affected by the project, and to assess their level of interest, influence, and importance. It helps to understand their needs, expectations, preferences, and concerns in relation to the project objectives and deliverables. Meeting with them is crucial to get a better idea of what the project management plan should include and what is expected of the final deliverable. Strong stakeholder relationships can help to facilitate trust, credibility, understanding, collaboration, and cooperation. 3. Define the project scope. The scope of a project is the clear identification of the work required to meet the project objectives and generate the necessary deliverables, that is, to complete or deliver a project successfully. The project scope must be defined and organized by a work breakdown structure, WBS. Therefore, the project scope includes what you must do on the project, deliverables, sub-deliverables, work packages, action items. Project scope is important because it helps ensure that the project remains on track and that the team is not working on unnecessary tasks, that is, using valuable resources for something that is not critical to the success of your project. Project scope documentation will explain project boundaries, establish each team member's responsibilities, and establish procedures for how completed work will be verified and approved. 4. Assemble a project team. Project management is a team effort. For every project, there is a project team working together to make deliverables a reality. The project team is the group of people responsible for carrying out the tasks and producing the deliverables described in the project plan and schedule. Project team members may or may not be involved throughout the project lifecycle and may or may not be full-time on the project. The project team must help create a project plan and execute it successfully. Project teams are made up of many different roles, such as project manager, subject matter experts, business analysts, and other stakeholders. It is advisable to bring together a diverse group of experienced professionals to form a multidisciplinary team that views your project management plan from different perspectives. 5. Determine a budget for the project. A project budget is a tool used by project managers to estimate the total costs required to complete a project over a defined period of time. It includes all direct and indirect costs required to accomplish the project objectives. Once you define the scope of your project, you will have a list of tasks that must be completed to successfully deliver your project. Carrying out all the planned tasks will require resources such as equipment, materials, human capital. And it will also require money. Therefore, the first step in creating a project budget is to estimate all likely costs associated with each task. Once you have these estimated costs, you can establish a cost baseline, which is the basis for your project budget. The project budget will include labor costs, material acquisition costs, and operating costs. But it is not a static document. Your project budget will be reviewed and revised during project execution. 6. Define project goals and objectives. Goals and objectives are different things when it comes to planning a project. Goals are high-level statements that provide the overall context of what the project is trying to accomplish and are usually broad. Objectives, on the other hand, are more specific, measurable actions that must be taken to achieve your objective. The objective should be written at a lower level so that it can be evaluated at the conclusion of the project and see whether it was achieved or not. In short, for an objective to be achieved, related goals are usually created that lead to that objective. When creating a project plan, the goals and objectives emerge naturally from the business case. But at this stage you go into more detail. In a way, you are adjusting the goals established in the business case and creating clearly defined tasks. 7. Outline the project deliverables. A deliverable refers to any item produced as a result of a project. A deliverable can be a good, service, or result required to complete a task, or to complete a process, or to complete a phase, or to complete a subproject, or to complete a project. Deliverables can take many forms, from physical products to online documents, reports, or even software applications. A project can have multiple deliverables. As defined in the project scope, a project consists of sub-projects, phases, work packages, activities, and tasks. And each of these components can have a deliverable. All project deliverables should be identified, and someone on the team should be responsible for their successful completion. 8. Create a project timeline. A project schedule is a schedule that organizes tasks, resources, and deadlines into an optimal sequence so that a project can be completed on time. A project schedule indicates what needs to be done, which resources must be utilized, and when the project is due. It's a timetable that outlines start and end dates and milestones that must be met for the project to be completed on time. Schedules are created by collecting all the tasks necessary to achieve the final delivery. Schedules are divided into phases, indicated by milestones. Milestones mark the end of one phase of the project and the beginning of the next. 9. Assign tasks to your team members. The plan is set, but it still exists in the abstract until you take on the tasks on your calendar and start assigning them to team members. The entire purpose of a team is to enable different employees to work together effectively and create results that are greater than individual contributions. The task description can detail each task so that team members fully understand the steps they need to take to complete the task and have access to the resources they may need to be successful. Their roles and responsibilities must be clearly defined so they know what to do with instructions and any related documentation needed to perform the tasks. As a leader in the workplace, it is essential to ensure that everyone on the team is receiving the appropriate amount of work and has the skills needed to get it done. 10. Carry out a risk analysis. Every project has some level of risk. There are several types of risk such as scope risk, technical risks and schedule risk, among others. Even if your project plan is complete, internal and external factors can impact the time, cost, and scope of your project. Risk analysis is the process of identifying and analyzing potential issues that could negatively impact key business initiatives or projects. An important part of risk analysis is identifying the potential for damage resulting from these events, as well as the probability of their occurrence. Risk analysis will enable the risk management plan to allow project managers to predict potential risks and reduce their negative impact. 11. Create your project plan. As discussed so far, a project management plan is a document made up of several elements. Before we get into a detailed explanation of each of them, it's important to understand that you must include them all to have a solid project plan. Required components may vary depending on the type and size of your project. Broadly speaking, you'll need these important documents to create your project management plan: project charter, project timeline, project budget, project scope statement, risk management plan, change management plan, cost management plan, resource management plan, communication management plan, stakeholder management plan,